I mean, it looks good. It's extremely pricey for a mechanical keyboard, though. Um, but I mean, it's made from, like I said before, uh, a lot of very good material, um, and also having one of the problems with keyboards is that you always get a lot of dirt and shit inside the middle of the keys. And having someone able to know that you can just take it out quite easily and just remove a lot of that dirt, like it brings in a lot of it brings in a lot of life longevity to the keyboard. Because I mean, a lot of people throw away the keyboards because it just gets dirty and they don't have the necessary skills or know-how to actually take it out. So assuming anyone who buys this would be a mechanical keyboard connoisseur. Um, and Hans said that he has looked into deep into mechanical keyboards, hours and hours of videos. So now he's become one. um, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't buy it. I'd buy it if I had the money to actually. If I had the money to, I'll definitely buy it. If I had a lot of disposable income, this will actually be a really quality buy, in my opinion. I agree. But being someone who's kept his keyboard that's only costing me like $6 for my mechanical keyboard, and it's lasted me like 5 years. So I mean, that if that's good enough for me, if I don't have the disposable income, this will not be in my mind whatsoever. I'll never consider it. So yeah, that'll be my 2 cents, I guess.
KD.
All right. When I see this sort of stuff, I just think, for fuck's sakes, like seriously, like, like, get on with it. Like, look, there is a point, right? There is a threshold, and then people take it to the extreme. Like, for me, I get it. When you're wearing things like glasses, things like mice and keyboards, stuff that you use every day and you're kind of in direct contact with, like your laptop, for example, is another good example. I'm cool to spend money on it. Like, I think it's important you spend good money on it. But as soon as you spend obnoxious amounts of money on it, like, it's kind of like, that's something you really like, but it's not something that I would indulge in. Like, I can see people sort of frothing over this sort of stuff. But it really, I don't know, to me, it's just like, come on, man. What do you want to get done? Be pragmatic about it. Get the shit you need. Just get the job done. Like, what is this 600 euro keyboard, which is like $1,200, going to add to my workflow? And me completing the task in front of me, which I've got to do. I can do just as good a job with probably I bought that keyboard and mouse for what, $138 the other week. I bought a keyboard, right? Perfectly fine. It's not clacky. It's got low travel, looks clean, tidy, and I can get on with the job that I have at hand. I don't have to sit here, troll to the internet, try and put each of the keys together. I don't know. Like, it's a very specific type of person and personality that enjoys this. Like, I can appreciate, like Brian said, you have to be a connoisseur of this stuff. Like, you really need to be understanding this area, this domain. Otherwise, it's kind of wasted on you. It's the same as the sneaker stuff, right? Like, if this is something that you get and you understand and you want to pay $1,200 for it, more power to you. But like, if it's someone like me who's fairly pragmatic about these sort of things, it's like, just to me, it just seems like an obnoxious and waste of money, But each to their own. Again, like I said, like, that is a very personal perspective on this keyboard. Yeah.
Well, can you comment on the aesthetics and the materials and the manufacturing of it?
Yeah. So what this guy did is he traveled
without
back
the
in
price.
time. Yeah. He traveled back to time to 1993, and he found a keyboard that was lying around, and he just made all the molds for all the keys from a keyboard in 1993. And he said, "Hey guys, look, got this fantastic new thing. Everyone should buy it. Should spend $1,200 on it." That's what this is. And make a clean website and get a whole lot of suckers, you know, to build their own keyboard. Like it doesn't even come built. Like what the hell? Like, you know, you pay that much money and it doesn't even come bloody assembled. You got to spend another 5 hours with a freaking cotton swab and like grease the thing and Jesus Christ. Seriously, I don't know. Like you really have to love your keyboards for this sort of shit. You know?
Good news is that Novel Keys are producing new switches that come pre-lubed, so you might not have to sit there.
Yeah, well, great.
The Novel Key Cream series comes in black, yellow, and blue, I believe, with the actuation force of about 40 grams to 60. I'm not sure if that's true. So for those in the know, Keycult is like one of the most desired brands. It's one of the most exclusive, one of the most desired. You basically can't buy it even if you wanted to. You kind of have to buy it like a year and a half in advance.
Well, thank God I don't want to buy the damn
exactly
thing.
when you're gonna get it. That's how much hype it has around. Like they have a shop with their own CNC machine. This is all they do. This is all they do. I think there's still hope for Krishna. You know, I think there's still hope for him because this is if you're a modern day high performing professional in these creative fields, right? Your tool is your computer and your physical interface to your computer is a keyboard. Just like how in the olden days, warriors, it was their sword and shield. Blacksmiths, it was their anvil and hammer. To Roger Federer, it's his tennis shoes and a tennis racket. Roger Federer spends about $1,000 per tennis racket, like setting it all up, right? And in that kind of, like also chefs, right, use knives that can be ridiculous in price. Now, I know what Krish will say to this. He will say, well, expensive swords and knives, which Krish is a little bit obsessed about. Maybe one day he might make one for himself. They cut things better and they last longer. And there's all these like functional elements plus beauty, right? And that's kind of where the difference is. Like even if you get a cheap silicone-based, keyboard, when you press A still comes on, right? And yeah, if you get into like the Formula One kind of aspect of performance, this might be like micro nanoseconds, bits more faster and accurate and responsive and all this stuff. But you're still typing an A when you push the button. So it doesn't, unlike a knife that cuts, tofu better. Or tofu is an easy thing to cut. What's something hard to cut? I don't know, like, Bibles or something.
Look, I'll just say this, right, Hans? The issue I have with this is that it does not improve my design process as a designer any better. Like just because I have a fancy keyboard doesn't mean I'll be able to write better script. I'll be able to do, I don't know, better interaction design or architecture or anything just because I have a better keyboard. If that is my performance criteria, like it's different for a chef or Roger Federer because it actually lets them perform better, like fundamentally adds to their craft of what they're actually doing. Like Federer's case, hit the ball more accurately, or have better ball control, or whatever it is that he wants to have. What does this give me in terms of what I need to produce?
In those examples, the thing that they talk about just as much, if not more, than the objective performance of hitting the ball, right? Especially for tennis rackets and things like knives, is feel. It's feel of the handle, it's sound of the ball, right? It's the feel component. And basically the reason why they specify 5 different kind of base plates for their keys to sit on is because they have different flexibilities. And it's responding to your unique profile of what kind of tone, every time you hit a key, what kind of acoustics do you want? What kind of pressure profile, right? Tactility, right? Silent, loud, whatever, right? That you find pleasing, right? So what's the consequence of using something like that for 12 years, 8 hours a day for work?
Oh, dude, I got better things to do. Like, seriously, this keyboard conversations is, it's just what the hell? Like, wrap it up. Let's go. I'm done. Like, seriously.
He's having none of it.
No.
But you'll like this. You'll like the fact that these keyboards are wired.
You pay $1,200 and you get a wired keyboard. Oh my lord. Jeez. No, like I said, look, it's each of their own. And for me, the value proposition doesn't add up. But if it is someone that really enjoys the stuff, then go for it, man. It's your money. Do what you will. Yeah, it's more of a hype thing. It's like the same reason you'd pay $5,000 for a pair of sneakers. It is what you enjoy, and it's your thing. So that's what you would pay for it.
That's the only thing that I would disagree with what Krish said about this. I don't think this is actually hype. I think if you actually look into hype as in a creation of like a bubble where something is inflated in cost because of the fashion of it all kind of thing. If you actually look into CNC machining, a hunk of aluminum, right? And all of these things, and anodizing and all of this stuff, and water jet cutting, mounts and all this shit. It's really quite expensive and takes a lot of time. So although I don't personally like the aesthetic, I kind of think the design is quite, I agree with everything that you said about the design. I feel like it's just like, if you're going to spend all that money, like, make a Ferrari, man. make a Ferrari. Why are you making this brick, like this expensive brick? Like, why? You have so many other options. Why are you doing this with what I might be making a lot of people angry here. It's in terms of aesthetics, I think a lot could be explored. I think they're focused a lot into the feedback from what people want in terms of the acoustics, in terms of feel, in terms of keycaps, materials, these kinds of things. But I actually don't think it's hype. I think it's the majority of the people living in cities use computers along, for so many things, for communicating, for entertainment, for work, for play. And this is one of the few devices that gets, used almost every day. Like every day you'll use this, So, and if you actually see the graph of engagement in the keyboard communities on Reddit, on YouTube, right? It's been steadily rising, like just solid for years and years and years now, to the point where it's just like there's keyboard influencers, and there's like potentially 100 different companies doing things like Keycult. So I agree with everything, except I actually think this craft is here to stay until we no longer need keyboards.
Leave it at that.
Yep. Good closing statement.
Hans, you're not buying this keyboard. You can, but like with your own money if you want to.